went out of the community, we had community meetings, did pop-up events, invited people to office hours, surveys, different ways to actually get the thoughts, opinions, ideas of the Evanston community.
Can we ask questions while you do this? Because I think there are a lot of people that are questioning this part of the process, this early part, because, you know, we got these slides that kind of summarized it in generalities, but were any of the, I also know that, because I was at some of these, where the questions were very like, what do you like about Evanston? Do you like parks? Yes. Do I like green space? Yeah. You know, I mean, very general, pie in the sky kind of stuff. Was there anything that gave these people, I'm talking about the 8 months of questions, any indication of eliminating R1 zoning or eliminating parking requirements or any of the more controversial issues, or did that just land in November?
So early engagement did focus on lived experiences in Evanston. You know, what do you like about Evanston? What are the current challenges that you're facing? All of that. Megan's going to go through a little bit more in her presentation how we progressed and iteratively identified certain elements that show up in the draft plan. What you're discussing in terms of observations and this kind of suggestion to move towards allowing more housing options within all neighborhoods of Evanston actually resulted in the consultant's feedback, which was presented to council based on their observations in July. And so that is where their observations, and they recommended based on those observations that the city consider policies around allowing single, duplexes, triplexes, and fourplexes in all neighborhoods.
See, what's suspicious about that is that there was a study that Connections for the Homeless sponsored that where this stuff first started to come out, and then that all of a sudden that became almost verbatim what was in the comprehensive plan. So a lot of people are looking at that and saying, wait a second, it didn't come from these interviews and neighborhood comments. It came from the consultants.
Correct. It came from the consultants.
Right, and not from the residents.
In addition to the community input, the consultants also made their observation knowns and recommendations, which staff presented to council.
I think that point, though, is a critical point. That because everybody's asking, like, where did this stuff come from? Well, what you're saying is it didn't come from the residents, it came from the consultants.
Based on the feedback that residents provided to the consultants
I will challenge you to give us any resident that asked for this. Any.
I think you heard from residents this evening.
No, they're reacting, and I get the reaction and say because they've been told this is going to give them affordable housing, which is not.
So can I make the suggestion that we move through the process?
Okay. Sorry.
After each person presents, then.
But excuse me, I sort of got the sense of that what we have right now is very incomplete. It's not even a revised comp plan. It's a list of to-dos.
Correct.
But you just said that we're not going to see the answers to this. We're not going to see any more. We're not going to see a plan before it goes to council. Is that the idea?
At this point, we're asking for recommendations from the Land Use Commission in terms of changes they would like to see incorporated based on, and then it would move forward to City Council, and those revisions would be incorporated. Keep in mind, we
don't know the answers to some of these things. I could find them, but where you say, well, we'll study this. Okay, well, what's the result of that study? I just feel like if we're supposed to pass judgment on the plan, we need to see the plan. Simple.
Okay. Thank you. I appreciate your feedback. I think the way that it's been structured and the conversations we've had with the chair is he's asked us to prepare for you all for your consideration change options. It's really difficult for staff to redraft a new plan for your consideration without understanding what changes you want to see happen.
No, I
So
understand.
that's why we're here to have these conversations
I
today.
totally understand.
Yep.
I think that the steps are, you've done this, and then we have comments on this, and then you do the things that are in the to-do list, and then we see the results of that, and then we make a recommendation, and then it goes to council. That seems like the plan. That will take a while to do that. So that's what I'm getting at. Like, are we shortcutting the LUC review process?
I will let you guys determine that and give direction to staff on how you would like us to proceed.
Okay, but that, I got it right though, that the intent was to give us this list of to-dos, and then we make comments or whatever, and then it goes, sometime later it goes to council without us seeing it. That was the intent.
Correct, you're providing direction and input into the plan, the draft plan. That is my understanding, of discussions. I don't know, Chair, if you want to share anything from your perspective.
I mean, this is the discussions that we've had based on the timing that is being directed
That's
to us.
exactly the point.
It is exactly the point, and I'm hoping that when City Council has their discussion on Monday night, we will be able to get some clarification on some of this stuff. As of right now, this is the plan, the timing that we have been given in order to get something to City Council on their timeline.
The other part of this, and I just talked about us, but it's all these concerned citizens out there. When do they get a chance to review, the plan?
So that would be as part of the city council process.
And the city council will hold hearings like we do?
I have not gotten direction from the city council on how they'd like to process this plan.
Yeah, they typically don't.
All right, let's just move through where we are right now.